Katie, you have to take the rook here. Please, you have to take the rook. Katie has a chance to save the game. Does she take the rook here? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Full Strive Chess Tournament. We have 8 participants in our tournament today, and we got some fireworks that we are excited to show you here today. Every single match is going to be a single elimination match, and every single game is going to be 3-minute blitz with 2 seconds of added bonus time. In the event that a game is drawn, it will be an immediate 2-minute bullet game, and if another draw happens in the 2-minute bullet game, it will be a 1-minute bullet game with 2 seconds of added bonus time. The winner of this chess tournament will receive $10 sent via Venmo, Cash App, or PayPal, or a chess.com Gold membership. And we got some absolute fireworks that we're going to show you. So let's get right into it. And we are underway for the first match of the Full Strive Chess Tournament. And we are going to actually watch from Black's perspective in this first game, and then we are going to alternate between White and Black as the tournament progresses. Also, due to Ika having a much higher elo than LG in Rapid, which is what our tournament bracket is, we go off of Rapid elo because that's the most common time control. We are requiring Ika to wait 2 minutes until he has 1 minute on his clock to play his 4th move, because if you don't play your 4th move, chess.com will abort you from the game. If you're watching this on YouTube or you're watching this in the stream, if you want to participate in one of our chess tournaments, all you have to do is join our Discord server. We have tournaments on Tuesdays and Fridays, and we always have a lot of fun. I am always actively commentating the games, and if you want to watch your replay, I post all of our broadcasts on YouTube now, and they are so freaking fun. If you want to hop in, and also you get a $10 cash prize if you win the tournament, and it's free entry, join the Discord server, and all you gotta do is sign up for the chess tournament, and you are in. We have so much freaking fun. And this is going to be an absolute banger of a tournament right here. So LG responded to Ika's C3 move. Okay, so Ika had to play a move because I believe it was going to auto-abort him there. So now the bishop comes out. And now Ika's going to wait. He has to wait 1 more minute. And Ika actually has an advantage early here. Let's see here. So the bishop now slides up to G4 for LG. Let's see here. Yeah, so bishop comes up here. The next best move here is to go knight e5, queen b3. Okay, wait, what? Queen b3. Queen b3. Knight e5. Oh, wait, what? Knight e5. Knight e5 or bishop f4. All right, and we have 24 seconds until this match gets underway. This one's going to be fireworks. LG, a very promising up-and-coming blitz player and rapid player at that. He's been in the Discord server for a number of years. And I believe Ika's time was about to abort him again, so I think he had to play 1 more move, but he has to wait until he has 1 minute on his clock before he can play another move. 13 seconds. 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's get this match underway. Ika immediately responds with e3. LG pushing the pawn forward. He has very solid development here, and I honestly believe that you should take the bishop here. Well done by LG. Queen takes back, and now we are probably going to see bishop here. Yep, excellent move from LG. Pin the knight to the king. Great stuff. And honestly, I probably wouldn't mind. It's kind of tricky. Like, I probably wouldn't take the knight here. Eventually, you probably want to get your bishop back here to negate this bishop, because this bishop is sniping all of these dark squares right here, so it can be a little bit difficult to navigate that. Also, chat, mods in the chat, please start dropping predictions. Let's get those predictions going. So, LG vouches to slide the queen up. A very bold move, moving the queen to a5, putting pressure on this knight. Now, I'm thinking Ika it says castle. But if Ika goes rook c1, that's apparently a blunder because of queen takes on a2. So Ika has to be very careful here in how he navigates. Oh my god, and LG has an advantage. LG has the advantage. He needs to take this pawn. Queen takes on a2. That is the only winning move that maintains the advantage. And he finds it. Excellent stuff from LG so far. Now the knight is still pinned, and keep in mind the knight is pinned, so the knight couldn't take the queen. Like the knight couldn't take the queen here. And now the queen is threatening this pawn too, and there is so much stuff that Ika has to answer. But he has 30 seconds on his clock. Can he figure out a plan and figure out a plan fast? You get 2 seconds of bonus time every time you make a move. And he vouches to castle. That is a good move. Now I'm thinking, does LG take the pawn here? LG taking a little bit of time, as he should. He has lots of time on his clock, and he does take the pawn. Okay, so now Ika is officially... Oop, nope, he takes the pawn and gains a couple more seconds on his clock. He's about to get in the red there. And now LG, I'm probably taking with this pawn. I'm probably taking with the C pawn. The C pawn makes sense. Oh, wait, no, the engine's calling for the E pawn. Oh, my God, and apparently that's a blunder. I even would have played that. Now the knight has to move. The knight has to move now. And the pawn pushes, and LG now has the advantage again because of takes. And the rook can't take because the queen's covering, but he misses it and takes the pawn, and now the knight takes. This is getting really fast because Ika is very low on time. Oh my God, a crippling blunder by LG. Can Ika find the win in the final seconds of this one? Sliding the queen down. Apparently that's a blunder too. But the bishop takes and now the queen takes back. LG is up 2 pieces of material as it stands. And you cannot castle here now because the knight is hanging right now. The knight is hanging. You need to do something about the knight first. But he castles and now the knight is blundered. But Ika misses it and slides the rook over. A normal move, a very standard move to play when you are in low time control. Now, do you move the queen here? It says queen f6. Queen f6. Queen f6. You can't get to f6. What? Knight f6. It says knight f6. Attacking the queen here. Ooh, that's actually crazy. That's the only move for LG. Because it saves the knight. And if the rook takes, the knight will take the queen. Oh my God, can LG find it? No, he cannot. And the knight is going to fall off the board. And just like that, Ika has a 2-point advantage in the sheer blink of an eye. But don't go anywhere. This game could turn on its head very, very fast. Now the bishop slides down to c4. How does LG respond? I'm thinking in my head. Perhaps. Okay. It says g6. G6. h5. Or I think that was a move too. Slide the rook over. But LG has to be careful of this ice skater. And now checkmate is being threatened. Actually, no. The king can get away. LG does a good job blocking the attack coming down on this diagonal. And now the queen slides up. LG needs to keep pieces on the board. No, he trades the queen. That's not good. That's not good. He trades the queen. And now the rook slides up to attack. Can Ika find the winning calculations in 20 seconds? LG with 1 minute on his clock now, desperately pushing the pawn, trying to figure out a way to get through. I say push the pawn again. I say a4, a4. No, he vouches to slide the rook back. And now you cannot defend this pawn because if you slide your rook down, the pawn is going to take. LG is on the ropes early. Ika is looking like he's going to take the game by its head, by the horns. King slides up. Is there anything LG can do to salvage this? 50 seconds on LG's clock. And you cannot defend this pawn. If you push it, pawn takes, rook takes. And it is, and Ika Ewok is mere seconds away from winning this game and finishing off LG in round 1. King slides back down to f2. Now the rook slides down to c6. Rook slides up, e4. Rook check. And now the rook's probably going to block. No, the bishop blocks. I like that move from Ika. LG has 48 seconds. Can LG pull off the unthinkable miracle and force some sort of draw? Anything. Can he find anything in this spot? Now the pawn pushes. I think you push this pawn now. You push this pawn, takes, and then, ooh, and he slides the pawn over. And now the rook's just going to take with check. Oh, it's brutal. It's brutal. King now slides up, and now the rook is going to check and collect this rook. And there is no stopping these pawns. He has 3 pawns that are going to be pushing here, plus a bishop. LG is looking more and more grim by the second. Pawn pushes. King slides down to f6. King boosts forward to f4. King now goes down to g7. Pawn pushes to g5. Pawn takes on g5. H-pawn takes on back on g5. King slides down. And now you just push the pawns. LG slides his king over. It's over. LG looking for a desperate attempt at a stalemate. Can he find it? Can he find it stalemate in the dying embers of this game? The engine is saying mate in 5. And LG has 32 seconds on his clock. Slides the king up. The pawn now pushes. King slides up. Queen is promoted. And it does not look like LG is going to get out of this. Oh, but Ika delivers a check on the H file. That's interesting. Typically, you probably try and force the king into a box and then slide your king up. Now you probably slide the king up. Oh, it's brutal. Brutal, brutal, brutal. Ika with a very, very phenomenal game. Now it's mate in 3. Mate in 4. Ika now has more time than LG. That is crazy. He was down to 15 seconds at one point in this game. Crazy stuff. Now the pawn pushes. And it looks like Ika's just trying to play this one safe, try and not get a stalemate here. Mate in 3 again. Now the queen slides up. Queen slides up there. And now you literally just move your king in. Move your king in. Actually, no, you can probably just push this pawn and then... Yeah, okay, that's fine too. All right, king slides up. One more time. And checkmate is delivered on move 67. And Ika is our first winner of round 1 of the Full Strive Chess Tournament. And we are underway for game 2 of the Full Strive Chess Tournament. Katie with the white pieces, Super with the black pieces, and we have e4 followed by c5, a Sicilian defense. Katie playing exactly how I would play. She's now going to push the pawn, I imagine. Nice. And if takes, and if the knight comes out, I usually just take the knight. Oh, and Katie has an advantage early. Apparently that's a mistake from Supra. E takes d5, best move on the board. And Katie finds it. And right out the gate, Katie has a spatial advantage, according to the analysis. Start dropping your predictions down in the chat, guys. Who's going to take this one? So now Katie moves the bishop up to f4, and just like that, the advantage is lost. Keep in mind the engine is also 3 million elo, so I would take everything the engine says with a grain of salt. Anyways, pawn is attacking here. And now in my head, I'm thinking probably just move the bishop here, I would say. Nice. Good job, Katie. Well done by Katie. And now how does Super respond here? In my opinion, I think Super should probably... Ooh, no, he might moves the bishop up. That could be bad. I was thinking slide the bishop here, and then if bishop takes, queen takes, and then you're just chilling for now. Oh, this could get really scary. Now Katie vouches the castle. That's one of the best moves on the board. Well done by Katie. And Katie has an advantage early. This is the Sicilian defense Marshall counterattack. Ooh. So Super, I believe, needs to start getting these pieces into the game and developing here. Oh my god, he moves his queen up, but that is apparently catastrophic because of bishop g5. And now the queen's gonna have to move, but Super finds a very interesting move. Taking the knight there on c6, and Katie finds a good move on taking the knight on c6, and Super takes back on c6. Now the best move on the board is rook e1 check. And after rook e1 check, the bishop is gonna block. That is the best move on the board. If the knight blocks, then the bishop is going to be blocked. So that's going to be bad. So Katie now slides... Ooh, that's actually kind of dicey. So Katie slides the bishop up now, attacking the queen. And now maybe she's thinking about getting the rook over. Ooh, this could get really dicey here. So, okay. So Super has to move the queen here. It says queen h6, queen h6, queen g6. And apparently that was a catastrophic move. Rook slides over, and the bishop can't go there now, because if the bishop goes there, Katie's just going to take the pawn and take the... Oh! And Super blunders! Super blunders! The rook is going to fall! Oh, it is devastating for Supra! A catastrophic mistake! A miscalculation in the position leads to Katie taking the pawn on g7, and shortly after this, she will be taking the rook right here. Oh, it is crippling for Supra. A devastating blunder by Supra. And honestly, don't even take the rook. If the rook is trapped still, just take the pawn. Okay, still taking the rook is fine. But okay, and ooh, and now the bishop. How does this one end? So Super vouches to push the pawn forward. So knight takes on d4 is the best move, and then queen takes on d4 is a good move, and then queen d3 is also a good move. Those are the 3 top engine moves. Super might be thinking about getting the bishop out now, perhaps. That might be what he's thinking about. Or sorry, I meant Katie. Or I guess Super's black pieces. LOL. I am colorblind. The king slide. Oh my god! And now it is mate in 2. It is mate in 2. And Katie is going to find it. One move in the position. And this is checkmate. And Katie finds it and delivers checkmate on move 15. One of the fastest Katie. GG Supra. And we are underway for round 1, game 3 of the full Strive chess tournament. We have a ready opening played here by Captain Bill. Knight f3, pawn c4. Pawn now takes on d5. Queen takes back on d5. Pawn now strikes down the center, playing d4 by Captain Bill. And how does Inik respond here? Inik is a very passionate chess player. If you did not know, he has been in the server for a couple months now, and he has participated in chess tournaments before, I should say. He is very solid, and also I forgot to get the EVOP bar on screen, so go ahead and get that on there for y'all. And a very, very promising talent. He has progressed in ELO, but let's see if he can prove it in this one against Captain Bill. So with that being said, we have bishop sliding up to g2. How on earth? Oh my. And apparently that is crippling for Inik. Captain Bill now has a slight advantage on the eval bar. Inik pushes, Captain Bill pushes the pawn now. Now the bishop's like, oh, and there's nothing you can do. The pawn's gonna go there. Now the bishop has to slide back. Bishop c1. Best move on the board. Bishop c1. Queen b3. Queen a4. Queen a4. Here. Oh my god, and it's crippling early for Captain Bill. And Captain Bill finds his best move on the board. What a stellar find by Captain Bill. Bishop g6, bishop c4. Top edge moves for Inik. He finds bishop c4. Well done. Now Captain Bill needs to either go queen c2 or knight d2. Ooh, okay. Evo bar significantly favoring Captain Bill in this spot because he has a very solid position as it stands. Inik is one slight miscalculation away from being down a tremendous amount of material early on in this one, so he needs to be precise in his moves as he progresses. Captain Bill now vouches to push the queen forward. A move ago, that would have been a lot better, but in this spot, it is still okay. I don't mind it at all. It does spin the knight to the king, and the king cannot castle as it stands because the knight is still blocking. So in this spot, you probably... And also, you got to keep in mind, too, the black bishop is currently sniping here. Oh, my God. And Captain Bill... Blunders! Does Inik find it? Does Inik find it? He does not. Sliding the bishop up. The knight needed to take here on e5. Now the knight needs to take on d5. Wait, what? Or bishop takes on d5. Oh, but apparently that's not even good. And you'd be lying, bro. Anyways, now Inik can probably take with the queen or the knight. Oh no, you can't take with the queen because the pawn, the knight is guarding there. So he takes with the pawn. I also missed that you could take with the pawn there too. So he does take with the pawn, and apparently that was the second top engine move as it stood. Now black is probably going to have to castle here eventually. Now the knight takes back. Good move from Inik, not doubling the pawns because you don't want to have double pawns as much as you can. And white should probably try and think about castling here as soon as possible. Now the queen slides down to attack this pawn, but Inik very, very cleverly slides the knight back to defend this pawn with the queen, so now the attack is negated by both the queen and the knight. Now let's see here. Okay, so I think white should honestly castle here. Castling's the second top engine move. A4 is what the next top engine move would be. I think Captain Bill should castle here. Oh my god, and Captain Bill does play A4. A crazy find. Both players are playing very, very solid as it stands. Very even on the clock. Captain Bill with a slight disadvantage on the clock as it stands. And bishop a7 is the top engine move. Bishop c7 is also good. Nicely done. Captain Bill now slides the knight here. And this knight is going to be very, very powerful. If the knight can get here, which it's looking like it's going to be able to, it's going to be threatening so many squares. But Inik slides the bishop down, negating the threat. However, the engine hates it because of castles, f3, f5, bishop d2, rook e8. Wow, I'm not even going to go into that. And now Captain Bill slides the knight in. And it says black is in a winning position here, but it's not quite certain why. Inik doing a great job of sliding the rook over when it was under attack. A very well-timed rook placement on the b-file. And I think Captain Bill needs to castle. I think he needs to castle. The engine is screaming castle. It is screaming at the top of its lungs. Castle, Captain Bill, castle! Will we find castles, though? He can also play knight a4. Oh, slides the bishop up to d2. I honestly don't hate that move at all. I made a noise, but honestly, it's not even that bad. Ooh, and that's because the pawns are going to get doubled now. Now, how do you stop this? Knight a4? Okay, yeah, the knight could escape. Okay, well done by Captain Bill spotting knight a4. Because if he wouldn't have moved the knight there, the bishop would have taken pawn takes and then queen takes, and Captain Bill would have been down a pawn. Nicely done by Captain Bill. Captain Bill is a little bit lower on the clock, though, as it stands. Oh my god, and now the pawn strikes. And Captain Bill plays the forced move on Poisson. A forced calculation by Captain Bill. A very, very stellar find. Now, Captain Bill needs to be very, very careful here. Because if this rook slides up, and let's say Captain Bill does castle now, the queen can just take here. Because if the pawn takes, the rook's going to take the queen. There's some calculations that are going to have to go into this one. I honestly think Innick should slide the rook. Ooh, no. Oh my god, and Captain Bill says screw castling. Castling is for 9-year-olds with glasses. Sliding the king up to e2, and now Innick responds with rook to e8. Captain Bill follows that up with rook to e1, and now this pawn is being threatened. It is a very easy way to defend this. You can go queen here, and also queen here probably. The queen is screaming for queen c8, nice find by Innick, and now the pawn is defended as it stands, and now maybe perhaps you slide the queen over to queen d3. Oh my god, and Captain Bill blunders the rook. Oh, it is catastrophic. Captain Bill is now down a rook after a slight miscalculation. One move is all it takes to lose. And that is why chess is so brutal. Innick wasting no time, stealing the pieces and taking a 4-piece advantage and a 5.6 point advantage on the eval bar. And now the knight can take here. The knight can take is because the rook is pinning the pawn to the king. But instead he pushes the pawn. Bold. I love it. And might I remind you, the pawn cannot take because the pawn is currently being pinned to the king. And due to Captain Bill sliding the king up here previously, he would have been able to get out of this threat later in the game if he would have castled. But unfortunately, that is not in fact the case. Now the king can't even go anywhere because it's being x-rayed by the queen there. Is there some kind of miracle that Captain Bill has in the works for us? Don't leave for 1 second. The engine says this game is over, but anything can happen. With 37 seconds on his clock, Innick slides his knight up to b5. Captain Bill now responds with sliding the bishop back to b2. And now perhaps you could probably go check. King slides over, and you can't really do much. I think Captain Bill should now slide the king over after. So after queen c6, I think you should slide the king over to king. Oh, it says king e2. What the heck? King e2, top engine move. H4. Another top engine move, and then queen f3. Captain Bill vouches for queen d2. Now, Innick takes the pawn on c5, and he is looking to just claim the position. And Captain Bill, a catastrophic trade. He needed to keep his queen on the board. Oh, it is just devastating for Captain Bill. A brutal finish to this one is in the works. Oh my god. Two very, very solid performances from these players, but one blunder is in fact all it takes for the game to be turned on its head and for you to lose this one. That is why we love chess. That is why chess is so beautiful, and Innick doing a great job taking pieces off the board as he is up a complete and fully optimized rook. Captain Bill looking for any sort of way to try and negate Innick's advantage, trying to force a draw of any possible caliber he can muster. Now the king slides down, and it is all Innick here. All Innick has to do now is just push the pawns forward, and it is going to be GG's, and there is no coming back from this for Captain Bill. King now slides down to g2. Pawn pushes to g4. King slides down, and Innick does need to be careful here. A stalemate is possible still. King now slides up. And it looks like Innick's honestly just trying to get more time on his clock. He also needs to be careful that he doesn't repeat moves. If he repeats moves, we've had that happen in our tournaments before where someone has repeated moves and they just get cooked for it. Captain Bill doing a good job sliding the king down. Ooh, and now this king is going to get in here. Or is it? Now the king can't go here. But he slides the rook over, and now the king does have to move again, and now the king will get in here. And it is going to be checkmate brewing in just a few moves here. Check delivered by Innick. Oh my god, and if he would have taken the pawn here, it would have been a stalemate. King now slides over. Is there a way that Captain Bill can rescue the position and get a stalemate? Now the rook slides down with check. An excellent maneuvering from Innick, stopping white in their tracks. And now the pawn pushes. And now you got to be... I thought Innick just blocked with the pawn covers. Nicely done from Innick. Rook takes. And now, honestly, you probably just slide, yep, just like that. Sliding the rook back. Now the king comes back, and you probably just go here now. And when the king goes here, you go here. King can go here. Oh, but he vows to push the pawn. Pawn pushes. Can Captain Bill get a stalemate here? No, sir, because a queen is going to be promoted on the G1 square. But he promotes to a rook. A nasty, disgusting move from Innick. And in the mere blink of an eye, checkmate is delivered on move 78. Welcome to game 4 of round 1 of the Full Stripe Chess Tournament. Evo is playing with the black pieces, and we have Exploring Chess playing with the white pieces. Evo, a much higher rated player than Exploring Chess, so we were requiring him to wait until he has 1 minute on his clock before playing his next move. And you might have noticed already, the king has slid up to f7. What on earth is he even thinking? Evo, showing no remorse, no regard for human life, sliding his king up the most disrespectful move on the board, which is a Caro-Kann defense Bond Cloud variation. I have a very, very nasty feeling that this is going to come down to the wire and become just absolutely and utterly diabolical in the mere matter of seconds. I thought I heard Katie. Anyways, if you want to participate in our chess tournaments, I'll tell you this right now before Evo plays his next move, which he has 48 seconds to do. All you have to do is join our Discord server. We have chess tournaments twice a week on Tuesdays and Fridays. We have a chess dojo, a daily chess checkmate. A lot of people do puzzles, but we do checkmates, and checkmates help you improve your pattern recognition and all of the other fun stuff. And Evo, so the game was probably about to abort him, so he slid his king up just in case, so the game didn't abort him. But he plays his king up to e6. Quite a spectacle to be had, I must say. But all you have to do is join the Discord server, hop in, and that's that. So with that being said, we have 18 seconds until Evo can start playing. How, and I apologize for my language, the hell is he going to do this? This is a free-for-all. Like, you can do whatever you want. And Evo vouches to slide the king up here. Here. And Evo now has 2 seconds on him. Check is delivered. And Evo is now in the green to start playing. Check is delivered by the bishop on f4. And Exploring Chess can find a winning combination of moves here. Oh my god. The pawn takes, and check will be a discovered attack. Oh my god. Bishop slides down to c4. How the helly does Evo get out of this, bro? What is bro thinking? Queen is now going to slide down to create check on d6. No, it says knight d6 is top engine move. What? Knight d5 check. Pawn takes. And then the queen takes. Wow. Okay. Yeah, this game looks like it's pretty much over as it stands. The knight's probably going to take now. And now the queen's going to slide down here. And Exploring Chess knows he is on the cusp of glory, and he is taking his sweet time, as he should. Evo opening the game with a Caro-Kann turned Bond Cloud. He played 3 king moves on the first 5 moves of the game. No idea what in the hell this man was thinking, but he has some crazy confidence to be playing something like this in our Full Stripe Chess Tournament format. But Exploring Chess does still have questions that he has to answer. I wonder if Chess could sack the bishop, takes. Nah, that didn't. He just lose a piece. Evo's king went on an absolute adventure here. And the players cannot see the eval bar as they're playing, but jeez, dude. Yeah, this definitely might be the worst variation of the Bond Cloud I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. The queen slides up now. I don't think Exploring Chess should take here. I think, yeah, engine's screaming for queen c7. Queen c7 attack here and here and here. The rook does still cover the knight, though. Queen c7, queen d4, or queen g5. If he takes the queen here, I think that might be crippling. Not quite crippling. He does vouch to exchange the queens. Oh my god. And Evo has a fighting chance here. And in the sheer blink of an eye, we are deadlocked on the eval bar. Because after the pawn pushes, knight goes here, takes, and we are deadlocked. We will be deadlocked here. But instead, Evo plays the top bishop move, which is taking the pawn on e4. What are we witnessing right now? A comeback of the century. Evo takes the bishop back. Now the rook slides over, and this bishop is going to get pinned here momentarily. What a catastrophic blunder, according to the Evo. Because a bishop sacking on d5. Can he find it? No, he cannot. And Evo, having been down 7 points on the Evo bar, is winning because the king is going to take. I am at a complete and utter loss for words right now. A heroic, I almost said masterpiece, but I would call that the complete opposite. The knight now slides back to e2. Knight slides forward to d7. Knight slides over to g3. Rook slides back to f6. Rook slides over to d1. Explorer chess is trying to put pressure on Evo's clock. Evo desperately looking for an attempt to maintain the position and find a way to break through and finish the game off in style. Now the knight slides over. Best move on the board here for Evo. And you cannot go here because the bishop. Now the pawn strikes. Bishop slides back. Evo is on the cusp after playing the Bong Cloud opening. I am in utter disbelief. And exploring chess sacks the pawn. Evo now slides the bishop back to b6. Knight jumps forward to f4. Rook now slides over to f6. Rook slides over to e1. King slides up to c7. And now the right knight comes in with check. It is covered by the rook. Well done. Now to move the knight again. But where do you move it? You take the pawn. Nicely done. Very, very brilliantly executed by exploring chess. Now the rook jumps over, and now you probably got to slide the knight back here. Nicely done. And now this knight is completely trapped. Oh my god. And Evo decides to trade the rooks. Okay. Actually, that's good. That's good. He's the up material. That's a good move by him. And now exploring chess needs to be very precise in this spot. He cannot have any more material come off the board, or he will be dead in the water. He cannot have any more material come off the board. It will be GG's in a mere matter of seconds if he cannot make this happen. The knight does still cover the rook here. And exploring chess vouches to move the rook here to attack this pawn. If Evo slides his rook up here, though, the knight's going to take, and that is going to be just... I might actually lose my mind. And Evo vouches to slide the rook up, or to slide the bishop up, I apologize, to e3, and Evo slides the rook down. And the Evo bar doesn't like it. Now the rook slides over to take the pawn on b7. Now the knight is sliding over, and Evo has 11 seconds on his clock. If exploring chess can survive this, I will be completely and utterly flabbergasted. Now he needs to slide the knight up. Slide the knight up. Nicely done by exploring chess. Evo now slides the king up. Oh my word. It is the most disrespectful opening known to chess. And now the knight is going to be pinned, and there is nothing you can do to stop it. There's nothing. Catastrophic. But Evo slides his king down. What is this man thinking? Actually, wait, no, that's good. Now the bishop's going to take, and it's going to be mate in 5. But instead, exploring chess blunders the rook. And now the king slides up to g1. The rook takes the knight on g3. And this game is looking like it is going to be over in a mere matter of seconds. King slides over. Now the rook is going to take. The rook actually slides down now. Pawn pushes. Pawn takes. Pawn takes. Rook slides up to attack the pawn. And now the king slides down to attack the knight and defend the pawn, but that is going to be to no avail. And this game's over. This game's over. Well done by Evo. Congratulations. It appears Evo will be moving on to the next round. This game was won for the rafters, I must say. Evo now has more time than exploring chess, which is just crazy to think. Ooh, and exploring chess looks like he's trying to... Oh my god, now the knight's blundered. Wait, actually, it was his move. LOL. Now the king slides up here. Pawn's going to push, and the king is just going to take the pawn. Nope, the knight's going to take. Now the pawn pushes again. Knight takes, and this game is over. All Evo has to do is perform a checkmate that he has done thousands of times in his chess career. King slides back down to c6. King slides over to e6. King slides up to b5. And we are on move 67. We have king d5. King slides over to a6. You just got to go here. Nope. Evo lets the king escape again. Now... Okay. What? Evo is over here playing with his food. Bishop check. Knight jumps in. King slides over to a6. King slides down to a7. Bishop check. What is Evo thinking here? Evo! What is Evo doing? Check. Mate in 1. And checkmate is delivered on move 79 by Evo. And we are underway for game 1 of round 2 of the Full Strive Chess Tournament. We have a very fast opening here. This is the King Pawns opening. King's Knight, Elephant, Paulson, Counter Gambit. Oh my god, wait. This was an Elephant Gambit. The worst opening in chess. Oh my god, and White has an advantage here. Best move on the board is to go to Queen E2. I have studied this at tremendous lengths due to one of my friends in my Discord server always playing it against me, and it's very annoying. I never know what to do. But anyways, Queen E2 is the best move. You can also go Knight E5, apparently. 95 here. 95, and you can also go Knight G1. Knight G1 is obviously probably a bad move. Katie needs to slide her queen up to pin the pawn to the king, though. That is the best move on the board here. Crazy we have an Elephant Gambit early on in this one. Oh my god, and Katie's out. And it's devastating. It's devastating. Katie is on the ropes. The knight jumps forward, but the pawn is going to take the bishop. Oh my god. In the mere matter of seconds, the game looks like it's going to be over. Katie, a devastating blunder. She needed to go Queen E2. Ewok or Ika. Unbelievable. We're only on move 6. And it is a plus 3 advantage. Queen slides it forward. Katie looking for that checkmate. Imagine if you went here. Don't go there. That would be very bad because you have checkmate here. Oh my word though. But that is actually insane, bro. Yeah, so I don't really... Jeez, bro. This is actually crazy, bro. Best move on the board here is Bishop E6. Queen C7. And that also works. Because the Queen C7 would have defended the pawn on checkmate. But that's still a good move there from Ika. Now Ika's looking to try and take this pawn here, which makes sense. Very, very logical to me. So, gosh, the Elephant Gambit just does all sorts of things to someone's mental, bro. The Elephant Gambit is by far the most annoying yet powerful opening in chess. Oh my god, but Ika blunders, and now Katie has a slight chance to equalize here. She's only now one piece of material, though, as it stands. Now Ika slides the queen up. Oh, and that is devastating. Because now the knight is going... And Katie has a move! Queen takes on a8! Does Katie find it? Does she find it? Take the rook, take the rook! Katie, you have to take the rook here. Please, you have to take the rook. Katie has a chance to save the game. Does she take the rook here? Katie, you have to take the rook. And she fights it. Do not leave for a single second. And even if you take the knight here, the queen's going to take the bishop. Ika, with a catastrophic calculation error. I am at a loss of words right now. Folks, do not blink. Do not wince. Do not leave the string for a single second. It looked like the game was over, but it is in fact Katie who has the advantage as it stands. Unprecedented. Ika had the whole world in front of him, and now he is using so much time, and he is now below Katie on the clock. I cannot believe my eyes right now. This is crippling. Complete and utterly crippling. Queen D8, only move. You can also go Queen C5, also defending the bishop while simultaneously attacking the knight. Knight takes on E5 is also a move. But after that, the queen's going to take it. You can only block it, and the queen's going to take it. The king's going to be forced to take. And you cannot trade down material in this spot. And Ika vouches to take the knight. And just like that, Katie takes the bishop. And due to an unbelievable turn of events, Katie, against all odds, is going to be favored. It only took one move. That is chess for you. One move is all it will do. And the game will be turned on its head. I have to adjust my glasses because I can't quite comprehend if this is in fact real or not. Oops, I accidentally just closed the chat, but it's fine. I just crumbling. Just a complete and utter crumble from Ika. You gotta feel for the poor individual. Crippling. Now the knight slides forward to c3, and Katie's going to be looking to get her bishop forward and then connect these rooks, and Ika will be forced to do something about this queen because eventually the queen will potentially get pinned to the king, and you just have to make sure you are wary of that. The queen now takes here on c2. Rook slides over to deliver check, and Katie is a couple moves away. King f6, and it is now mate in 3. Can Katie find it? Bishop f4 check. Knight e5 block. Bishop takes on bishop takes on e5. And the king has one move. Knight d5 checkmate. And Katie, for the second time in this clash, has delivered checkmate with the knight on move 18. An unbelievable performance from Katie. Katie is moving on to the championship round. Congratulations, Katie. And we are underway for the final match of round 2 of the Full Strive Chess Tournament. Let's go ahead and get that analysis on screen. And in the sheer blink of an eye, we have an England Gambit declined. Quite a diabolical opening, if I must say. Evo completely outstretched. Inik completely outstretched. And the bishop now slides up to f4. And now the pawn pushes by Evo. And Inik has an advantage extremely early in this match. Oh, and by the way, I forgot to. On move 3, Evo is required to wait 1 minute. So now Evo has to wait 1 minute. Guys, while we're waiting for Evo to give time odds to Inik, I would like to remind you that if you want to play in our chess tournaments, all you have to do is join our Discord server. If you're watching on YouTube, it's going to be in the description. And if you're watching on stream, ask one of the mods and they will get you a link to hop in. All you have to do is join that. We have chess tournaments twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. And we have a daily checkmate, which is like a puzzle, but we call it checkmate instead of puzzle because checkmates are more fun. And we have a bunch of other cool, fun stuff that will help you improve at chess. It is my mission to help as many people as I possibly can prove to themselves that they are capable of extraordinary things in this beautiful game that we all love. I went from 900 ELO to 2000 ELO, and I want to show you all that it's in fact possible as well. So if that sounds like something you want to do, go ahead and do those things I just told you. But with that being said, guys, we have 3, 2, 1, and Evo has the green light to start playing. And he is going to follow up with... Oh, I guess he's giving him more time odds. Evo's such a nice guy. Shout out to that Evo guy. Evo's so kind. He only had to give 1 minute of time odds. You know what? This is actually kind of crazy. Evo is showing absolutely no regard for human life. I would just like to point that out. Absolutely zero regard for any form of human life. He is playing the most diabolical chess this tournament has probably seen since the dark ages of Chessy Simp. Anyways, bishop now slides up to b4. But apparently that is catastrophic because of queen d4. You can also play d6 here. And you can also play... Ooh, but... Inik decides to attack the bishop. That is the wrong move because after the bishop takes, the pawns are going to be doubled now, and that is not a good sign for Inik in this position. Ideally, you probably want to try and avoid getting your pawns doubled as much as you possibly can. Now, does Inik take the knight here? Taking the knight is the only move that rescues everything. If you go bishop a5, it will be winning for white. Inik needs to take the bishop here. Or excuse me, Evo. I said Inik a bunch of times. Evo needs to take the bishop here. And he does. Well done by Evo. Good calculation there. And now perhaps eventually Inik could slide his queen here. And then Evo's probably going to castle now. And then you slide the bishop up here. And perhaps you try and eventually... And Inik just decides to fire a sniper rifle at the b8 square, taking the knight. I don't think anyone in their right mind saw that happening. Nobody had that on their bingo card. But. Inik now pushes the pawn now to e3. And these pawns just look like... They look like they don't know how to... Like, they look like they rode the bus one time, and then the bus, like, crashed. And then... I don't really know where I was going with that, but we're just going to roll with it. And then the bus crashed, and now they have head damage. Anyways. The queen now slides over to a5. Queen slides up now to d2. Well done by Inik defending this pawn here. Now, Evo strikes at the position with the d pawn, going to d5. And Inik does have a very big advantage on Evo as it stands. But how? Queen a4 is now the best move on the board. That is a move. That is a slight inaccuracy according to the engine. Apparently, you should have gone somewhere else. But it's fine. Now the engine is screaming f4, a4, and Inik is on the ropes. Sliding the queen up, that might be one of the only moves you can play in this spot. But in a mere matter of seconds, this game is going to be completely and utterly over due to the overwhelming threats coming down all these files. The rook's coming down, the rook's coming down here. The queen is actually x-raying this pawn, so this pawn is negated currently as it's being pinned. This pawn is being threatened, the queen's threatening down here, and this bishop is just cooked, completely and utterly cooked. Might remind you too, this was a England Gambit declined. Otherworldly, bruh. Otherworldly. So the knight now takes. But that is going to result in a... But that is the wrong move because the queen can get down. Oh, it said b4. b4 was better. Evo still has a plus 2.5 advantage on the eval bar, but he is up one piece of material. He could have been up so much more. And Inik, in a very, very well-timed manner, castles the king, gets the king to safety. So now he is saved from checkmate. And now Evo, with a slight mistake here. Now I'm thinking you can maybe slide the rook over to AB1 and then maybe try and push the pawn here because now the knight's going to be pinned to the queen. You can also go rook AE1 here. You can also go knight F5. Crazy work. And both players are coming down to the wire here. Inik is now below on time, and he is sitting at 30 seconds on his clock. How exactly is this going to end? And Inik finds the worst possible move he could have possibly played. He slides the king up, saying, screw this. I see you. You can't stop me. I am going to attack with every fiber of my being. But Evo is now officially in the red. Evo does not have a choice. He has to start playing a lot faster. If he does not play faster, he will lose. Inik cannot take this pawn. He needs to push the pawn up to e4. e4 is the only move. You can also... e4 is the only move that doesn't lose. You can also go rook AE1. But that is bad. Because if d takes, if rook takes... And Evo is below 10 seconds on his clock. I didn't even realize he's at 5 seconds on his clock. Evo has no time to think right now. No time. The knight now slides over to c3, attacking the queen. Queen needs to slide back to e1. Only move. Well done by Inik. And Evo with 5 seconds on his clock. Wait a second. Could Evo have taken there? I think Evo could have taken there. 3 seconds on Evo's clock. The knight now takes back. And now it's going to be over. It's done, set, match. Done, set, match. 5 seconds on Evo's clock. Is there any hope to this? There is not. Ooh. Is it possible, though? Is it possible that Evo can run out of time with 2 seconds on his clock? He makes a move in the mirror. With very little time on his clock, and it is... Oh my god. And Evo with no time on his clock. The position is now even. This is catastrophic. The Evo bars all over the place. Both players have no time to think. They have 0 time to think. And he got the advantage. But now it is negated. Pawn pushes. King slides over. And he's going to take the pawn. And now the rook's going to slide over. Check. Takes. Push. This is a spectacle to be had. A diabolical conclusion to this one is in the works. And it has very little time to coordinate and attacking. And it's over. If rook f8, it's over. But he pushes the pawn. Both players have gotten a lot more time on their clock as they played. That was just an absolute slurry of events in terms of moves. Now the rook can take... Actually, you can just push the pawn here. That's crazy. Because after the king takes... And the position is once again drawn. I am at a complete loss. The most uncanny conclusion to a game I might have ever seen in my days. The queen checks. There's no possible way. And it can actually win this game, right? Are we going to a 2-minute bullet tiebreaker? Innick, against all odds, has a deadlock position. But he has 10 seconds on his clock and he has no time to waste. He must continue to create checks and continue to stop the king and the pawn and everything else from doing anything. Do not go here. Check delivered by Innick. Well done. Getting a little bit more time on his clock. Okay, so now the king slides down, queen checks, and now the king is blocking. Now you probably slide your king. Actually, probably not, because then you'd probably just lose the pawn. LOL. Queen check. Oh my god. Oh my god, it's winning. It's winning for white. I didn't even see what the move was. How can you? These players are moving faster than the speed of light. We're on move 70. Oh my god. And Evo takes the pawn. And the only... Check. And it looks like a draw is going to be forced here by Innick. Oh my god. And you cannot check your... Because the queen could have come down and blocked, but moving the pawn forward was the worst move you could have possibly made. And now we're going to play Ring Around the Rosie. And it appears that this game is going... Jesus, it's a And we are underway for the championship match of the Full Strive Chess Tournament. We have Katie representing the white pieces, Evo representing the black pieces. And Evo does exactly what got Katie in the previous game. We have an elephant game gambit played on the board. Evo, one of the strongest elephant gambit players I might have ever seen in this generation. Katie takes the pawn. Katie vouches to go for a different route in this one. And now the queen slides over to e7. And your best move here is to play d4. d4 top engine move. You can also go f4. f4, d4. But that just loses the game on the spot. But Evo can't take here because he has to wait until 1 minute on his clock before playing his next move. The Elephant Gambit might be one of the most feral openings in all of chess. You just witnessed a fast forward due to Evo having to wait 1 minute until there's 1 minute on his clock to play his next move. But Katie blunders because a bishop takes on g4. And that is exactly what happens. Katie officially is on the ropes. Is there anything she can possibly do to revive this? The bishop now takes. Okay. Pawn takes back, and now the queen slides over, and we are underway. And Evo would he has a massive advantage as a stand. It says he only has one piece of material as an advantage, but it's the fact that the king can no longer castle, the fact that the king looks like it's goofy on this square, and Evo now moves the bishop up. Now you probably, it says king g2. d4. Bishop d5. Check. And then after, okay, so after bishop d5 check, pawn blocks, you go up with check, and then king's going to probably get blocked by the knight, and then the queen covers the checkmate threat here, on here. That is the only combination that saves Katie right here. But Katie using every last second she has to try and figure it out. This is going to be a very tough position to navigate and try and salvage for Katie. The Elephant Gambit strikes again. It is the most annoying, potent, and frustrating opening in all of chess. I have lost to it probably a dozen million zillion times. And Katie finds, that was the best move actually, king g2. Because after queen f2 check, you just slide your king up. But the king looks so, but apparently that wasn't even the best move either. Only move for Katie is sliding the king up. She plays it very, very quickly. Well done by Katie. And can Katie even survive this? Now imagine if here takes, and then I say you move the queen here. Ooh. And Katie takes the knight. Or excuse me, Evo takes the queen, the queen exchange, and the pawn pushes now Evo castles, and now the pawn pushes forward to d4. Bishop slides back, bishop slides forward, pinning the knight to the rook, and it isn't exactly quite over just yet. By the way, Evo still has questions he has to answer. Yes, he is winning, but he has a lot of things he needs to figure out to finish this game off. Now the rook slides over, and now Katie definitely needs to move the bishop back. Probably go bring the bishop back here, and if here. No, that's not a move. Okay, good move from Katie. So now the pawn pushes, king slides down, and that is bad because of rook e6. But Evo plays knight to h5 instead, and both players are coming down to the wire in the final match. How exactly does this one end? The rook slides over now. It looks like Evo was trying to look for an opportunity for a discover check, but Katie very calmly navigates the king to safety. But this pawn is going to be pinned here for likely the remainder of the game. Now the knight slides over to c2. Rook slides over to e6. And it is looking very, very bad. Ooh, and that's even worse. But Evo with 18 seconds on his clock. Is there any sort of hope? Now you have to move the king here because of knight fork. You have to move the king somewhere. Perhaps here. King f1 top engine move because the knight cannot create a check on that square. King F1, top engine move. Katie has to find King F1 or Rook H1. Rook H1 is also a move. You can also go Rook. And that loses. But can you get the rook over? Rook slides over. It's not quite clear yet. Knight D3 or Knight D3 attacking. Okay. And slide the rook up. 15 seconds. And the pawn is going to take the knight. And this game looks like it is going to be going to Evo. But you never resign in these spots because Katie just a couple of moments ago pulled off one of the most extraordinary comebacks this tournament has ever seen. Ever. Now the knight comes up with check. King slides over. Rook check. King slides up, and now his mate in one. But Evo misses it. Now the rook slides over, stopping the mate. This was checkmate on that previous move. Now the rook takes. Now you push the pawn forward. Okay. And after the pawn takes, you take here. Okay. So now you take. Now the bishop is pinning its own knight to the king by Evo. Now Katie resigns. Or excuse me, Katie loses on time on move 36. GG's to Katie. GG's to Evo. Evo is our tournament champion, and his name will be forever engraved in the Fullest Drive Chess Tournament Wall of Fame in the Discord server. Congratulations, my friend. Alrighty, guys. Thank you all so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment, and tell me what your elo is. Do you want to play in a chess tournament just like this? All you got to do is join our Discord server. The link is going to be in the description down below, and you click that. We have 2 chess tournaments every single week, one on Tuesday and on Friday. We also have a daily checkmate where it's like a puzzle, but you solve it. And we also have a chess dojo. We have ranked chess coming soon, and a bunch of other awesome stuff. We are the next big chess community, and I am excited to bring you the best possible community that I can. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I highly recommend you click that link in the description down below. And also, if you enjoy chess content, please consider subscribing. I'd really appreciate it. It'd be really nice of you. And also, if you enjoyed this video, you might also enjoy this video. This video is really fun to make, and I think you'll find it very enjoyable and funny. So guys, for the last time, thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day. Peace.